This is the picturesque village of Oppeter near Brie in Belgium, where the former world #1 Kim Clijsters grew up. At the age of just 23, she shocked the tennis world by announcing her retirement. But after just 2 years and a baby, she returned to the WTA Tour. Then in 2012, she called time on her career, and this statue was erected to celebrate her achievements. 6 Grand Slam titles, 4 singles and 2 doubles. But now, at the age of 36, and after having had 2 more children, Kim Clijsters has decided she's not finished yet and will return once again to the WTA Tour. I'm going to ask you, Kim, the most important question first. Why? Why did you want to come back?
It's a challenge that triggered it. It's that step to, all right, let's see, let's do this and take it all, let it all just happen, and the good, the bad, and it's the challenge that I'm really enjoying. What has amazed me, and I think also some people around me, is that, when I've had a couple of injuries, and the knee injury pushed kind of back the goal of starting in Australia, and I was surprised that it didn't really get me down. I think also the fact knowing that I have my family, my normal life just went on, and it's not like I was, didn't know what to do now with my time. The motivation only just grew stronger in a way, and which is something that I was also surprised by.
What is the motivation then? People say you can take the athlete out of the competition, but you can't take the competition out of the athlete.
Yeah, it was a feeling that triggered it. It was a feeling that, whenever I went to a couple of tournaments, even if it was doing commentary or if I was playing some legends, I kind of in the back of my mind at times I still felt like, I could still be a player. I'm not saying win Grand Slams, but I could still be a player and not be amongst the legends or not doing commentary. I didn't feel always quite comfortable yet. But then when I would come home and I was, in the craziness of the hectic life with the kids, and I'd be like, yeah, it's not possible. One of the big moments was when our youngest started going to school. So he goes to school from 8:30 till 3:30 now, and I was like, okay, so this will give me some time, and maybe I should just see how far, my body can go, and in the back of my mind thinking about, maybe this can lead to coming back or playing a few tournaments a year, see how will I react and how will my body react. And it very easily could have gone the other way, where I said, like, look, it's not possible, whatever, my neck is too sore, or I have too many issues in my back, and that's it. I knew what nobody would have known about it, but it kind of it grows slowly, and that feeling just grows stronger. And once you get into that routine where you at the same time you're also taking care of yourself more, there's a routine for yourself. It's not just all, for the kids, and so it's the balance. It's not that it's 50-50, but there's a balance again that to me works well, where I feel like I've told friends of mine where I say, it's funny, like I train 3 to 4 hours a day or 5 hours a day now, but I'm less tired than when I was, before I started this.
When you came back after your first child, your daughter, you were the first mother to be WTA #1. Did you feel that, because a lot of women get this, that they have more stamina after having had a child?
Yeah.
So their body's been through a lot anyway. Like,
and I think mentally also, I think there's a mental toughness. I don't know if it's the experience of having a child or of the daily routines of taking care for somebody else, that you push yourself and you say, okay, I got to do this, I got to do that, without knowing unconsciously. I think I feel it now too, and I think that's when I talk about my knee injury, is that I didn't even feel. I think everybody else around me, like within my team, was like, oh, she's definitely going to be upset, or she's going to be like throw in the towel and say, like, that's it, I'm not going to do it. But I actually had the opposite. Like that stamina was like, all right, let's handle this and let's get this better so that we can, what's a few weeks. And so I have had moments like that Whereas when I was younger, it would have been like, you know, I don't want to do this now. You act like a kid. It's true. Like there's more moments like that. And whereas now you try to just make the best out of what you do, and you do it the right way.
You're 36 now. You've had 3 children. Are you concerned about injuries now? I know you just had your knee injury, but...
Yeah, and the thing is, like, the knee injury was an out of the blue kind of bad luck thing. It wasn't because I was playing tennis or I slid on a paddle court. It was bad luck, but I have to say, so far, you know, I think if you put in the time and then you look at, you know, everything around you, the diet, your sleep, make sure that you take care of yourself, well, then you're capable of doing a lot of things. I'm not saying I'm going to be as fit and as fast and do the splits like I used to do, but I do think that I still am capable of getting to a certain level where I feel happy with. And to me, it doesn't have to be, you know, a contender for Grand Slams, but to go and push myself to a level where I feel happy with what I'm doing, that's, to me, the goal.
Can you still do the splits?
I have to admit, a few weeks ago when I was in a training camp, I did one out of the blue and I didn't even think about it. And I was like, and everybody kind of on the sideline stopped and was like, why did you do that? I was like, I don't know, it just happened, I'm sorry. So I've done one so far, but we'll see. I don't know. I don't know. I should be able to. Just make sure that I'm fit enough to get back up without any pulled muscles.
Exactly, because that's what you were known for, was for being so limber. But obviously after a few years out, you know, a few children. These things stiffen
it all
up.
changes, right? Yeah, the body changes, and but at the same time, I do feel, or what has amazed me in a way, is that how quickly there's some kind of memory within your system that where you feel like, okay, things are going in the right direction, and the process is going where I want it to go. I'm not where I want to be yet, but it's going in the right direction, and I feel like that bar that you keep pushing just every day gets pushed up a little bit higher, and it's just a matter of seeing how far can we push it. That's to me interesting but new at the same time, and for my team too. They, you know, there's no comparison to the past. I mean, we know numbers and from statistics that I had in the past, but like we said, I'm different. I think differently. It's not that I'm a different person, but there's so much more has changed in the last years.
How do you think she'll do in the WTA Tour?
I think it's tough to say, yeah, if she plays this girl or that girl, she's going to do this. I think first she has to experience, and then we try to find solutions if we need to do.
How is training going? Are you doing anything differently from the last time you were on tour?
Of course, and I also noticed already when I was on tour 20 years ago starting, you know, there's a shift. It constantly changes, but I feel now there has been a lot of changes, and I've been trying to go more, not fully vegan, but trying to be more healthy, and whereas you look at food that triggers inflammation differently and those kind of things. It's just, yeah, there's more and more science behind things now these days as well, and for my trainer and my osteopath, and they also look at treatments differently. There's the cold therapies, there's so many, you know, new approaches to help, and it's a matter of trying and seeing what works for you, and at the same time also remember I was a big believer in you know, deep tissue massages back in the day, and I still do that. My body reacts good to that. So there's things that haven't changed, but there's things that are changing, and that I add and that are new to my program. And to me, it's not, you know, this is not a 24-hour kind of on my mind thing. You know, when I'm done with the interview, I have to go bring my daughter to basketball practice, and you know, so it's. But I like that.
Do you think it would have been possible to have had 3 children, or to have 3 children and be on tour permanently? You know, to be able to do everything, because one of the reasons that you retired the first time was because you planned to have a family. I mean, do you think, did you feel then that you had to retire in order to do that?
No, I never really felt that I had to. It was a feeling that I wanted to. And that's something that when I think now about my career, I feel very happy that I did it the way that I did it. I never really stayed on tour because I had to stay on tour because I wanted to make money, or I wanted to have a certain ranking or points, or I stopped because I wanted to have kids, and then I came back because I enjoyed, the tour and being on tour and training and being in that lifestyle and combining it. Obviously with Jada, I traveled a lot more than it will be like now. The mindset, I'm doing it now because I want to do it. I can pick my schedule, I can work it out. If it doesn't work with my husband's schedule, then I'm staying home, and so there's nothing is obligated. And that's one of the things when I talked to Steve Simon from the WTA was that, he talked to me about the rule that they have for past Grand Slam champions and past number ones, is that if you apply for a wild card, they can give you that wild card if the tournament allows you to enter. And there's no limitations, there's no amount of tournaments that you're mandatory to play. It's up to you if you want to play 4 tournaments a year or you want to play 16 tournaments. It's all possible. And to me, that was like, okay, well, that changes a lot, in my feeling about doing that. Because if they would have told me, look, you have to play 16 tournaments a year and you have to go here, and there at a certain, in the schedule, then I would have said, this is impossible for me to combine it. But I felt like in this situation, I can combine it. Obviously, I have no ranking, so I'm going to need wildcards. But there is a wildcard that each tournament has. If they want to give it to you, they can give it to you, and there's no restriction for me. I can play a whole year on 12 wildcards if I want to. And so that rule really from the WTA is what made me decide, like, okay, this is an important one.
I know you've been watching a lot of the younger players come through, especially players like Coco Gauff, who's so young. Is there anyone in particular that you've been impressed with and who you wouldn't mind playing against?
Well, there's a few players, obviously, since I've been commentating that I've really enjoyed watching. Coco Gauff. Simona Halep is not a young player, but it's someone who I've never played against, and so when I've watched her play up close, and the way that she, played against Serena in that Wimbledon final was just incredible to watch. And Andreescu, what she did at the U.S. Open, fun girls, interesting. At the same time, Naomi Osaka is a player who I enjoy watching, and not just on the court, but also her press conferences, it's fun. Like I've always enjoyed watching tennis. I'm a fan of our sport, but I also like playing it. So there's some young players that I have really enjoyed watching grow in the last, let's say, year and a half, 2 years, I would say, and just seeing them step up to the plate and seeing them win their first Grand Slam and dealing with the pressure of what's next, how are they going to do next, and it's a part of the growth process that we are in our sport. But it's Coco Gauff is definitely a girl who I have my eyes on, and especially in the big events.
We've just seen Serena Williams win her first tournament after having had a child. Has that motivated you or inspired you?
It's great to see. It's obviously the win now. I think it was Auckland, is great to have that first win. But what impressed me even more was, the Grand Slam finals that she got to the last few years. And I think not a lot of people, I think they expect her to just win everything. But how hard it must have been for her to be at Wimbledon in a final, to be at the US Open in a final, a year and a half after she had her daughter. And so, it's not a win, okay, but it's still finals that she was getting to so quickly. And to me, that was really, really impressive. And I think it's only a matter of time before she gets to, if she can stay healthy and keep working hard on it, it's only a matter of time if she can kind of get used to being in that situation, and give yourself an opportunity again to be there, and then, it will fall into place for her.
Have you spoken to her or any other of the senior players just to speak to them about coming back?
Not really. No, not really. I mean, Svetlana Kuznetsova, she's been here. She she had a wrist injury, and she came over to visit, and we hung out a little bit. And some Belgian players that I've talked to, but not really. I mean, my life has been away from the tour for so long, and then the only contact I had with most of the players were the legends, and when we were playing the events on tour. So yeah, no, not really.
So you haven't looked for advice from anyone, or has anyone tried to talk you out of it?
No, also not. At least not to my face. Maybe around my back, behind my back a little bit, but not into my face.